Alright, so I cannot believe it, but I was able to achieve sub 6 minutes in a Musou mode for Dynasty Warriors 3 co-op. I explained in a previous video, but this takes advantage of an exploit that uses a weak player 1 character, and that allows for a weak enemy commander that's based on the player 1 stats. In my previous run, I just used Xiahou Dun as player 2, however I began using the best possible character for each of these scenarios, which allowed the time to go from 7 minutes 27 seconds to about 5 minutes 59 seconds. A little bit over that. I was literally milliseconds from getting over 6 minutes, so it was a really close one. And what I mean by best is mostly the spawn points. That's really all it's about, because player 2 is going to be so strong in general that having a death enchant doesn't really matter, which I also explained a little bit in the past video as well. Every scenario dropped in time here, but I'm going to go through each one of them and talk about each of them. For first up, it was Guan, and Xiahou Dun is used. He spawns much closer and is necessary for this time. He also, I believe he has the individual level speedrun as well, so it just makes sense to use him. And my all-time best, using like 2 players, was just 5 milliseconds faster than what I got in this run. So it's close to perfect, but it can drop by like a really small amount. And I'm not sure how much it can go down further from that, but I do know it can at least get 5 milliseconds faster. The second scenario is Chang Ban, and Wu characters just have the closest spawns on that map, at least I think so. I know having a player 2 does switch it up, but I'm almost certain that Wu has this closest spawn. That's also used for the individual level. And I went with Lu Jun because ever since I ran him on Hu Lao on the Dangzhuo scenario, I felt like Lu Jun was way faster on a horse. I just couldn't get to, like, by the time I would reach the enemy camp with Zhao Kuao, I would end up being like it would take way longer. And it just felt that way. Now I don't have like concrete evidence for that, but that's just kind of been what I've been running with. So I decided to use Lu Jun just in general for a lot of these here. However, back on topic, this one is the most has the biggest variable in it, I would say, and that's mostly Liu Bei. He can be extra nice sometimes. He can stop closer to you or farther, sort of like how the Guan Yu escape mission works, where Guan Yu can run away or it can stay. It's kind of like that for this one. So it's kind of just hoping that you get good RNG for this, but I still got my best time on this one, so I'm not sure the closest point he'll spawn at, but this one worked out pretty good for me.
Finish this battle before his
the next one is
arrives.
Chibi, and it's pretty basic. There's really nothing special here. It's just using Lu Jun and hoping that I don't really mess up my movement. At least for me, this map can be annoying because of how dark it is, and the bow patterns, I have them memorized, but it's just so easy to get stuck on them, so sometimes it could be a little bit difficult with that. And I also did get 8 milliseconds less than my best time that I had, but it's such a small amount that it didn't really affect the end result. Next up is Fei Castle, and I just did insanely better on this map, partly because I know Lu Jun at least walks faster than Xiahou Dun does. Now the horse thing, you know, that's just kind of my theory because I never timed it or anything, but I did time it, and I'm sure a lot of other people have as well, in terms of actual walking speed, and Lu Jun's just plain faster. And the only problem I even had on this one was Guan Yu. Sometimes he would clash with me, and that would take up a couple extra seconds, but obviously it didn't happen in this run, so it was pretty clean. So Jie Ting, though, I didn't really do as good. I was a little over 3 seconds longer than like the best score that I got, which it wasn't my last run that I actually posted, but I've been practicing obviously, and I had a run that was 3 seconds better than this one. But it still was manageable moving forward. Like, it didn't kill me to the point where it went over 6 minutes. And I noticed that Xiahou Dun does have a closer spawn, but when I was practicing it, I just kept getting better times with Lu Jun, so I just went with him. I'm not sure if he's actually the best, or maybe I wasn't doing as good with Xiahou Dun, but I found it pretty effective to use Lu Jun here. And during Fei Castle, this one was actually really beneficial for me because I figured out that I think the reason why the gates, I was having such a big problem with the gates, and this was in the individual levels as well, where Zhang He actually had a much better time like getting through the gate. And I always thought it was because of Zhang He's spawn point. I just assumed it was that, and that's what everybody was using. Everybody was using Zhang He to complete that map. So I always assumed it was a spawn point, but in this run I actually got put, like player 2 gets put in the normal spawn point, so you end up going down the middle, and I ended up going to the western gate anyway, and while doing that I ended up clearing the gate a lot faster than what I was going to the east. The east takes a lot longer. I'm not sure exactly how that works. I haven't really practiced it, but it's something I think I picked up on in this run. And that could definitely, like, that means that I could maybe use Xiahou and others like Musou on this map I could probably use. But I leveled up Zhang He just for this one, and it turns out I might actually not have to use him, so that's kind of funny. And the last map was Wu Zhang, and I felt pretty good on this one because Liu Bei can just completely destroy a run. No forgiveness on this one. He took like, what, 30 seconds the one time for me to spawn in? Sometimes he just doesn't spawn in. I'm sure it's a lot worse on PS2 as well, because the PS2 version of the game runs even worse on co-op mode, so I could assume it probably takes even longer on that one, but in this one he actually spawned there. That's the hard part out of the way. I was able to kill him, and I felt pretty good about it. But overall, sub 6 minutes is extremely satisfying for me because I never even thought, like, below, I don't know, like 9 minutes would happen prior to like the exploit discovery that allows for a weak commander. In my last video, I also mentioned the potential of using Zhang He because, you know, obviously he's used for the solo Musou runs. However, on second notice, his Musou mode is just not usable compared to Sima Yi because Mount Dingjun takes way longer. And the main reason, because you have to keep Zhang He very weak, and so he is the only one with a good spawn point. So, like, you're not going to use him, so you're going to have to use somebody else. But he's the only one with a good spawn point, so it's just better to use Fei Castle. Other than that, they're the exact same, you know, because you're using player 2. So Sima Yi seems to actually be the best character to try to attempt this record on. But thank you for watching, and I'm sure I'll have more co-op runs coming soon, you know, whenever I just decide to pick up on it.
Zhang He, take the enemy leader.
Okay, this is what I do best.
I never. Don't let the enemy near headquarters. Hold steady until reinforcements can attack them from behind.
Don't get too hasty. Wait for reinforcements.
All units, surround the enemy stronghold. Don't fall into their hands. Be cautious.